Worldwide reports over the past several years have exposed significant declines in honeybee population.
And Taiwan is no exception. More than 10 million bees have disappeared without a trace from the island, leaving beekeepers stumped.
But an Ilan University professor thinks he has the answer and conducted tests on pollen to prove it. Here's part one of our two-part report.
Lin Jin-tong is a beekeeper. Beekeepers move their bees 3 or 4 times a year, going wherever there's nectar. But over the past several years, climate change has brought more extreme weather events, making it harder to raise bees.
Frequent rain and typhoons have damaged plant life. There is not enough pollen, so I need to supplement their diet with artificial pollen. It's the only way for them to get enough nourishment to grow larger. When the weather is hot, it's stifling, and when it's cold, it's freezing. The bees have a difficult time adapting to these conditions.
When bees can't adapt to their environment, they easily become sick. If a bee dies in the hive, other worker bees won't think twice about removing the corpse to protect the health of the colony and prevent the spread of disease. They might even drag their dead partner far from the hive before disposing of it.
Spread wings, a shrunken abdomen, a stuck-out tongue. These are signs of having been poisoned. The strange part is there's no reason for them to be gone. When you open the crates, you can see that the bee population is down significantly. We're afraid because the bees are disappearing without explanation.
Stories of bee colonies suddenly disappearing or dying have been spreading like wildfire among beekeepers. Globally, as much as 90% of cash crops rely on bees for pollination. Their disappearance could lead to a food crisis, severing the food chain and threatening mankind's existence. So what's the reason behind this mysterious disappearance of these bees? Professor Chen Yuwen of the Department of Animal Science at National Ilan University has studied bees for 3 decades. Based on field samples he collected, he thinks Taiwan's bee population is being threatened by pesticides.
I interviewed many beekeepers. They told me bees would begin to disappear and die after they moved to a new location. Then they moved the bees somewhere else and the problem was solved. This shows it's not a disease. If it's a disease, the situation would probably be the same no matter where you move the bees because they would bring the disease with them. The problem lies in the local environment. This made me think that there could be traces of toxic materials in the pollen the bees collect or the nectar.
To check his hypothesis, Chen sent pollen samples to a nationally certified laboratory to test for pesticide residue. The results were shocking. He knew that the pesticides people spray on crops kill pests. But next week in part 2, we'll look at how they affect bees.